Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Sunday today. It's actually not a bad day here. We're kind of getting some rain and our snow is disappearing, which is always nice. We don't like snow here on the West Coast. And so today I thought I would jump on and share a card. I'm going to make an easel fold card, but I am in love with the flip flaps. And if you haven't seen these are in the scrapbooking brochure. So I want to show you that they're not just for scrapbooking, although they are amazing for that. Hey Crystal, welcome. And so I'm going to make an easel fold card and talk a little bit about the flip flaps, and I'm going to make it really simple. Hey Sharon, today I'm not even doing any stamping because there is an amazing ephemera pack, mix and match pack, that you can use with sentiments on it. So I'm going to try and make it easy. Fun fold card, a little bit of playing with the flip flaps. But really, this card is so easy because you're not even bringing a stamp set out. So I'm going to switch over. I think I managed to resolve my Facebook issue. Looks like I am live on my Facebook group. So if you're watching on my Facebook group, give me the thumbs up that you can hear and see me, because I think I fixed it. I rebooted my computer and I restarted everything, and so hopefully it's now live, going through both to my Facebook page, group, and to YouTube. All right, I'm going to switch over and we will get started. Okay, so flip flaps. If you haven't seen these, they are in the scrapbooking brochure, which is at the moment, Stampin' Up! Is putting the scrapbooking brochures out digitally only. But starting with the annual catalog that comes out in May, all of the card making and scrapbooking products will be in one single place in the catalog. And so as they've been playing catch up and bringing in new products, it's just been easier for them to produce a digital brochure for the scrapbooking. So if you're looking for it, it's in my online store. You can go and shop products and look for memory keeping, and you will find the scrapbooking products. So these are flip flaps. Let me just, they come in multiple sizes. So they come in 3x3s. They come in 3x4s, and they come both ways. So this is oriented landscape, and this is oriented portrait. They come as 4x4s, and then they come as 4x6s, both orientations. And so whichever works best for your card. So what they are is little plastic pockets, similar. So I use them for shaker card. I'm going to make another shaker card. So you can use them for shaker cards similar to what you use the clear envelopes, in the same way you use clear envelopes. And I have done a shaker card using them before. So you can search that on my blog if you missed that, or on my YouTube channel. And they seal. So if you're using them as a flip flap to put pictures in, so extra pictures or ephemera that you might have collected, tickets and other things that you collected, and you're using it on memory keeping, this tab tears off and that's the adhesive, and you just insert your pictures into the envelope. If you're using it as a shaker card, you're of course going to fold that over, and you're going to have to seal this using some Stampin' Seal or tear and tape. But you're going to fold that over, and then this becomes part of your card. And that's what we're going to do today. I am using a 3x3 today. So those are the flip flaps. Like I said, lots to choose from, and they're not bad priced. They come in like 10 or 12 in a package for, in Canada, about $9. All right, so let me bring in the things I'm using. Pretty easy. So I have one of the 3x3 flip flaps. I've got a little bit of gold. And I will talk about how to cut this, because it's, well, it says 3x3. If you're using them on cards and shaker cards, you have to kind of do a little bit of measuring. I've got some of this is the Wildflower Specialty Birthday Designer Series paper. I love it. And so these are some of the little ephemera or laser cuts that you can cut or just punch out of that. So easy peasy. I'm not even using, like I said, I'm not even stamping on this. This piece is one of there is 2 sheets that are the same that have labels and things that are pre-made, and all you have to do is cut them out. So that's what I've done with this. I've got a piece of this gorgeous, it's specialty paper with the gold designer series paper. And then my card base and a piece of basic white for the inside of my card. And then the other thing I'm using are, these are the, forgotten the name, something sentiments, of course, but it's all sentiments, and they come in black and white, so black base with white, or white with black, all sorts of sentiments, birthday, different birthdays, happy Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Merry Christmas, so easy to use. So I'm going to use this one on your cards. Don't even have to stamp a sentiment. Perfect. And I store mine, so they come like this in a package. I store mine in one of the stamp cases that you can buy. You get 4 in a package. And I store all of my embellishments in them, as well as these ephemera, because it just makes it easy to pull out, and then they don't kind of go astray and they don't fall out of bags and things. Okay, so let's start with this card, and then I will tell you a few little tips when you're using flip-flaps. So I've got a piece of Night of Navy. So I'm doing a landscape easel card. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. That's kind of your standard card base. But then I want to fold the front up because it's an easel fold. So I'm going to score it again in half, and half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So I've got mine scored, and if I can find my bone folder, there it is. We're going to fold it and burnish it in half, like we always do, fold into the mountain or the raised line. So that's kind of our regular card base. And now we're going to take, and on that middle, we've scored it along here, we're going to fold that upwards, and we're going to score it. Again, I folded into the mountain. So this is my easel. This is the way it will sit. And we're going to put something here to hold it in place, and so that it will stay upright. So that's kind of the shape that you're doing, but it's just a regular card base with an extra score line across the middle. Okay, so let's work on the flip-flap. So this is my flip-flap. So what it's going to do is my flip-flap's going to just kind of sit on here. Often with these easel cards, you would cut a piece of cardstock, and it would pop up when you open the card. In this case, it's the flip-flap that's going to pop up. And I chose the 3 by 3 because it fits. You could use the 3 by 4, but it fits when the card is closed. So this is going to be pressed down like that. When the card is closed, it still will fit into the envelope. Okay, let's set that aside for the minute. So these flip-flaps are this one is 3 by 3, but in actual fact, the size of this flip-flap is about 3 1/4 by 3 1/2 when you fold that down. So if you just cut a piece of cardstock to go in here that's 3 by 3, it's going to have a little bit of the plastic edge showing. And there are kind of seam lines down this side and on the bottom, so you kind of have to take that into account. So I originally had this piece cut to 3 by 3, and it's not quite square when you're using it the way I'm using it. So what I did was I measured between the seam lines, and then I measured when this was folded over top to the seam line. And I cut a piece of gold foil that ended up being 3 1/8 by 3 1/4. And that fits nicely in here without too much of the edge showing. You still get a little bit because there are these seam lines on it. Okay, so then you want to make sure that when you've put this down, the sticky part is underneath here. So that's the part that we're going to actually stick down, or we're going to seal. Okay, so we're going to take and put our piece. This is one, like I said, this was just one of the pieces of the designer series paper that has been cut. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to glue this on to this gold foil like that. like the pop of gold, since I've got the gold on the other designer series paper for the front of the card. I'm just kind of playing with the gold. Now the other thing is I'm going to make this a shaker card. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy and rub the front of my card. And I'm going to take my embossing buddy and gently, if I can, come on, get this. And I'm just going to take and put it inside here because there's a fair amount of static in these flip flaps. And so I'm just kind of rubbing that inside. Okay, so this is going to go on like this. So we're going to just tuck this into our flip flap, and then that will go over. Now if you can see, I've got a little bit of the white showing, so I'm going to just take my paper snips and just cut a notch so that you can't exactly see that when we close it down. Oops, and I forgot to do one thing. The other thing is when you're using these for shaker cards, you need to make sure you seal. So my itty bitty bokeh is going to go on the inside here. But if I don't seal this really well, it's going to leak out. So I'm going to just pull this out for a minute. And I'm going to put, you can either use a little bit of Stampin' Seal, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take and run a little bit of Stampin' Seal across the top, and hopefully you won't notice that. So we'll take that and then put it there. Don't close it, keep it kind of popped open. And before I seal it, I'm going to just take and put some itty bitty bokeh mix, and hopefully don't do that what I just did, because now I've got some of the bokeh mix stuck to that Stampin' Seal. So I'm going to try and get those off of there. There we go. One to go. Okay, now I'm going to take and press that down, and that will stop my bokeh mix from leaking out. I did make a card at one point, and I have bokeh mix. Every time I open my card, I didn't seal it well enough. So make sure you can't actually see that. Let's see. You can't, I mean, it shows just a little bit, but not really too bad at all. And that was just Stampin' Seal. Okay, so then this is going to go, and if you want to make sure, you can still see that white a little bit, but I'm okay with that because that white's coming off when I peel it back. Okay, so we've got our shaker bit for the front of the card. Okay, so then my piece at the top, which I'm going to decorate, is, no, actually that's not the piece. This is the piece I'm going to, because this is my easel part. So this is, I cut this piece of designer series paper 2 inches by 5 3/8, and we're going to just take and adhere that to the front of the card. These gold scallops are so pretty. There we go. Okay, and then this, we can now take and seal this. Now, what you might want to do, so this is going to seal down, and I did this the wrong way, but that's okay. We're going to go with this. I'm going to just take and run some tear and tape. I should have sealed it the other way so that when this closed, it was on the back of the card. But now this is going to be sticky, which is going to stick upright because I don't want, I'm only going to adhere this to the bottom. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to put some tear and tape. So you kind of have to think about, which I didn't do a very good job of that, thinking about which way this was going to go on. So just take some tear and tape and we can seal this down. Oops, like that. So that's our flip flap sealed down with tear and tape. Now I've got sticky here. You don't want sticky. So let me, a tip. You can take your embossing buddy and just rub it across that stickiness. and get rid of the stickiness. It's no longer sticky. You can do the same. This works really well. You can do the same by rubbing it on your sleeve, which will take some of the stickiness out. And if you have an adhesive eraser, you might actually be able to pull that adhesive off with a little bit of work. So I'm not going to do all of that, but it will come off. But for the moment, I will work on that afterwards. I'm just rubbing my embossing buddy over top of it. So this is going to sit like this and then pop up. So when the card is closed, it will look like this. And when the card opens, it's going to sit and pop up like that. So we're going to use dimensionals across the bottom of our, and I will definitely work on getting rid of that adhesive because I've made it even worse by trying to use the adhesive eraser. So I will have to continue using that. If you have some of the, it's not called Goo Gone, it's another one, but Goo Gone would work as well. You could take it off. There's another product that would take it off, and I've forgotten the name of it. So let's get this kind of even like that. And now our card sits. So it sits. We've got our front, it pops up, but nothing is holding this. And what you want is something to hold this in place. So we're going to create a stop. So I've got a piece of basic white that's just going to go on the inside of the card. This was cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we need a sentiment, of course. And we need some embellishments. Okay, so we need a stop to hold this in place. So I pulled out, these are some of the, some of the die cuts that come with the Wildflower Birthday. And so I'm just going to create a stops with one of these flowers, and you could put it off to one side if you wanted to. I'm going to put it kind of off to one side. So I pulled the pink flower, the blue, there's Night of Navy leaves because that goes with my what's on my cupcake, and then I pulled some of the gold stems. So we are going to use dimensionals because we want to pop this up a fair amount. So I am actually going to stack my 2 dimensionals, one on top of the other, and I'm just going to take and put that kind of there, so it will be hidden when the card is closed. And then I'm going to use glue dots. Thought I had 2 leaves. Oh, there's the other one. All right, so 1 leaf and 2 leaves, and then of course I love gold. I love stems and things that I can just kind of tuck underneath. So we're just going to take and put these underneath like that, and then we'll take the gold, just kind of tuck those underneath, and we'll tuck this last little one underneath the leaf as well. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I've got my stand. Now, yeah, actually that works. Like I said, you could put it in the middle, but I kind of liked it off to the side. Okay, now I also pulled out some party dots. Oh, we need our sentiment. So I pulled out this happy birthday sentiment. And you guys know me, you know that I absolutely love to do fussy cutting. So I'm just going to take and do, so you can fussy cut these out just like you can fussy cut a stamped image. Or I could have used this as the stop, but I like the idea of the flowers. They're so pretty. So I'm just kind of cutting around. Now let me just, I think I'm going to just take and I'm going to cut my birthday into, happy birthday into 2 pieces. So we'll just go around this one a little bit. Steering with the paper. Steer the paper, don't steer the scissors, and you will be much more successful at fussy cutting. And now let's see if I can trim this a little bit to make it more rectangular. All right, I'm gonna do that. It's not very, so I've got this on the left-hand side, so I'm gonna put my happy birthday here on the, how am I gonna do this? I don't wanna cover up those. Maybe we'll do it like that. So we're gonna put dimensionals. No, we're going to put glue dots. So it's already popped up a fair amount. So I'm just gonna put a couple of glue dots like that, have that kind of tucked or poking out a little bit, and we'll do this one, so I need to do the opposite end. Like that. There we go. Happy birthday, and then it will stand just like that. How fun is that? And it's a shaker card to boot. So you've got your bokeh mix in there, but let's put some party dots on it just because they're fun. And so we've got pool party on this. So let's take, and I'm going to put them on the inside, just kind of there, the two sizes. So we'll just take a couple of them and one there. There. All right, so there is an easel card. Using the fun flaps, using the flip flaps, as well as the wildflower birthday paper and the itty bitty bokeh mix. You could put, I brought out this is gorgeous. I love this open weave gold trim that comes with the wildflower birthday, and I thought about putting it on. So you could have tied a bow, but I got lots going on in this card already. So there we go. 2-for-1 card. Yeah, Pam, you're right. And it folds flat and will fit into an envelope for mailing, which is perfect. Okay, there we go. I am having so much fun with these flip flaps. You're going to have to try them because they're not just for scrapbooking or memory keeping. They're so much fun to make shaker cards and other things with. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. Now, tomorrow night I'm going to be live and do my memory keeping Monday. I'll make a double layout. Not sure which pictures I'm going to put on it yet, but come join me. And the goal for me is to do a double layout in about an hour's time, maybe just over by the time I've printed the pictures. And so that's my goal. Better done than not done. So I'll hopefully give you some tips and tricks if you have never done memory keeping before, or you're trying to get back to it, or maybe you're a seasoned memory keeper and you can give me some tips and